Most men chase recognition. They want to be seen winning, heard winning, celebrated winning. They want the applause, the validation, the admiration. But the Stoics lived by a very different idea, that the most powerful victories are the ones you don't need to display. In a world obsessed with showing off, the man who stays quiet becomes mysterious. In a world obsessed with being praised, the man who stays focused becomes unstoppable. In a world obsessed with proving something, the man who proves nothing becomes the one people respect the most. Stoics understood something fundamental: greatness doesn't need an audience. Truth doesn't need to be announced. Strength doesn't need a spotlight. A man's real power is measured not by how loudly he wins, but by how little noise he needs while doing it. The modern man has been conditioned to chase attention. Every achievement must be posted. Every step forward must be shared. Every moment of progress must be validated by strangers. But this constant need to show off weakens him. It turns growth into performance. It turns discipline into content. It turns progress into a desperate search for approval instead of self-respect. Stoics lived the opposite way. They moved in silence not because they were hiding, but because they understood the value of inner victory. They knew that the strongest men don't need to talk about their work speaks for them. A man who wins quietly becomes unpredictable. People don't know how far he's progressed, how much he's improved, how disciplined he's become, how many battles he's fought internally, or how many weaknesses he's overcome. And because of that, he becomes harder to judge, harder to control, harder to undermine. Silence protects your strategy. Restraint protects your momentum. Privacy protects your peace. The Stoics also understood a truth that many men today never learn: when you tell everyone your goals, you drain the energy you need to accomplish them. Talking gives you the illusion of progress, the dopamine hit of approval, the comfort of being praised before you've earned anything. Silence forces you to face the work. It forces you to show up instead of show off. It forces you to build instead of broadcast. Winning without showing off means holding your progress like a sacred thing, a private victory between you and the man in the mirror. No applause. No audience. Just growth. And here's the part men misunderstand: humility is not weakness. Humility is strategic. When you brag, you reveal your insecurities. When you boast, you reveal your need for validation. When you show off, you give other people leverage over your mind. The man who needs recognition becomes addicted to it. He becomes predictable, easy to read, easy to manipulate, easy to provoke, easy to distract. But the man who wins in silence becomes untouchable. No one knows what motivates him. No one knows how far along he is. No one knows what he's building or planning. And because no one knows, no one can interfere. Stoics didn't compete for applause, they competed with themselves. They aimed to be better today than they were yesterday. Not better than someone else. Not better in the eyes of society. Better in character, discipline, virtue, strength, judgment. And becoming better in these areas doesn't need a crowd. It requires solitude, honesty, and a level of self-discipline that the loudest men rarely possess. The man who wins quietly understands that validation is temporary, but growth is permanent. The noise fades, the progress remains. The applause stops, the discipline stays. The attention disappears, the skills remain. And something powerful happens when you stop showing off. You stop needing permission. You stop being influenced by opinions. You stop comparing your journey to others. You stop caring about who's watching. You stop asking for approval that never mattered. Your life becomes simpler, clearer, stronger. You start moving in a straight line instead of zigzagging for attention. You build momentum that isn't interrupted by judgment or praise. You become internally validated, grounded in your mission rather than in other people's reactions to it. Winning without showing off also makes your success more meaningful. Because it wasn't done for attention. It wasn't done for applause. It wasn't done for status. It was done because you said you would. It was done because you chose the harder path. It was done because you decided who you wanted to become. And that is a kind of strength most men never reach. They stay stuck showing off small victories to look impressive instead of doing the work required to become impressive. The Stoic man knows that true excellence doesn't require an audience, it reveals itself naturally through the way you live. People notice without you telling them. People respect you without you demanding it. People trust you without you performing for it. When you carry yourself with quiet confidence, when you become consistent without announcing it, when you develop discipline without bragging about it, when you build a life that speaks louder than you do, you become the type of man others recognize as strong without needing to be told. The Stoic secret to winning is simple: win for yourself, not for applause. Build for your future, not for attention. Achieve for your own pride, not for validation. Grow because you choose to, not because someone is watching. When you master the art of winning quietly, you become the kind of man no one sees coming, but everyone notices once he's arrived.